unity among people, spreading love, harmony, peace, respect, kindness among people, all people. So when we declare that we are Muslims, keep in mind that the guidance of this sermon and the guidance of the Quran and the religion of Islam is what you reflect in your interaction with others. So keep that in mind as you listen to the khutbah, inshallah. Islam commands dialogue and discussion to be with civility, respect, and graciousness among Muslim and the Muslim brothers, and among Muslim and the non-Muslim and the non-believer. All to avoid and escape the harm and mischief of the devil, as his goal is no dialogue or ruthless dialogue to create conflict and anxiety, mischief, and ultimately enmity, hate among people. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, in a very clear verse in Surah Al-Isra, verse 53, said what can be translated. Say to my servant, O Muhammad, that they should only speak that which is best. For Satan does sow conflict among them. For Satan is to man is a declared enemy. Satan is a declared enemy of a man, so take him as an enemy. Keep that in mind. Imam Ibn Kathir, elaborating on the verse, said, Allah command Muhammad, peace be upon him, to instruct the believers to speak the good word and be kind in their dialogue. And if not, the devil can and will create conflict and mischief among them. The devil will turn wicked words into deeds and action, paving the way to hate, conflicts, and fighting. The devil is man's eternal declared enemy, since he refused to prostrate to Adam in an open and a clear rebellious way. He did not hide it. The main goal of this command is to teach the Ummah of Muhammad, you and me, to be polite, kind, and soft-spoken in our interaction, as word spells out the intention and the objective, and ultimately word turn into deeds. Also, this command Muslims to be kind and civil in their dialogue with non-believer, to avoid what argument create of further separation and hardliners. Anything but goodness in interaction. Anything but goodness in interaction is a mischief from Satan and his favorite way to create more animosity and conflict. Allah also said in a clear verse in Surah Fussilat, verse 34, what can be translated, good and evil are not equal. Good and evil are not equal. Rebel evil with what is better, with what is good. And you will see that the one you had mutual enmity with will turn as if he were a close friend. You can turn an enemy into a friend with the good words. The verse is very clear in its inclusive guidance regarding communication and dialogue among Muslim and his Muslim brothers, and Muslims and non-Muslims. My dear brothers and sisters, following the same guidance of the verse, we find the hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, affirming the same command. Imam Muslim and Imam al-Tirmidhi narrated on the authority of Jabir, may God be pleased with him, that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said what can be translated, the devil giving up that the believer would worship him in the Arab Peninsula, but he did not give up on creating conflict and mischief among them. Count on it. He take you as enemy, and his commitment to make mischief and animosity among you. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is telling us the devil gave up on any of the believers that they returned to worship an idol in the Arab Peninsula. but did not give up in hope and action to create conflict and mischief among them. He accomplished his goal by leading one to insult another, move and entice vanity in your heart. And vanity is an open door to the devil to get you out of your mind, to get you out of your control, to get you out of remembering what is good and what's bad, leading you into mischief, leading you into trouble. So the devil, his goal is leading one to insult one another, creating conflict among them, bringing hate, trial, and ultimately killing. This hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is among one of his miracles. This hadith was reiterated 14th century ago because of what we see right now and transpire in the past of argument and irrelevant arguments and interaction that led to war and led to complete chaos. Conflict can very well start with a simple message from a corrupt media, enticing boycott one another and leading on one to hate another, fighting, terrorism, and ultimately abuse and war was just a missed message from a corrupt media. The worst of abuse that can happen also is the mental abuse which is practiced by oppressor governments to confuse the truth, opening the doors to those who insult faith and believe with their ignorance and with dishonesty and malice. They represent Islam and Muslim. You find so many who represent Islam and Muslim in the media and social media and media outlets, and their main goal is malice and creating conflict among Muslims and among believers. My dear brothers and sisters, among the divine guidance to preserve tranquility among people and close all doors of the devil's mischief and whispers is the guidance of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, forbidding a man to point a weapon or an object to another Muslim brother, as the devil can thrust his hand, causing injury and murder. Imam Muslim narrated on the authority of Abi Hurairah, may God be pleased with him, that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said what can be translated: whoever point a weapon, a sharp object, to his brother, the angel will curse him until he stops, even if he pointed to his own blood brothers. Notice in the beginning of the hadith that the Prophet said brothers, all brothers. And then he was specific about even his blood brothers. Explaining the reason of this command, it is narrated on the authority of Abi Hurairah that the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said in another hadith, let not any one of you point a weapon to his brothers, as he does not know, maybe the devil would guide his hand, leading him to fall into a ditch of fire. Just you point a weapon or a sharp object, you don't know if the devils will take your hand, thrust it forward, causing you to commit a big sin, which is killing another or taking a life. The Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is telling us the devil would focus his energy to guide the hand, inflicting harm, and the weapon would be faster than his intention and wants. Some of the scholars of the Maliki school of thought cited this hadith of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in preventing conflict and killing, as the Prophet said, he does not know that who point a weapon or a sharp object to his Muslim brother, maybe the devil would guide, take control of his hand, in another word, and cause harm. The scholar said this saying of the Prophet, peace be upon him, is a confirmation of the sanctuary of the Muslim and the Muslim soul, and a strong forbid to make him afraid or taking a chance of inflicting harm to him. Muslim faith and Muslim brothers and Muslim souls are sacred. You cannot even take a chance of making him afraid, even with kidding. Pointing open to a Muslim brother earned the aggressor the curse of the angels, which only occur with truth, and who he deserved cursing of the angels committed an obvious unlawful act. When the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, even if it was his own blood brother, is a loud signal and strong hint to the generality of what's prohibited to be applied to everyone. You don't pick and choose. It's a character, it's a behavior of the Muslim and the Muslim faith to be peace and spreading peace at all time to everyone. No exceptions. Pointing a weapon to a Muslim brother is prohibited in kidding. You just cannot be kidding. It's prohibited, as it may cause harm or injury. So being intentional is obviously unlawful, and more worrisome as the result, maybe taking a soul or taking a life. Those who do that will always have constant cursing from the angels until they stop, as it is narrated in some of the saying of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. Imam al-Iraqi illustrated on the use of the word brotherhood by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. He said, it is a reference to brotherhood in Islam as well, brotherhood to Christian and Jews, as harming them is prohibited in the hadith, as the hadith is inclusive of all. Also, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, reference to the weapon is also general. Small weapon or large, even if it was just a stick, as creating fear is the outcome which is prohibited. It is not just appointing what's prohibited, the outcome, creating the fear in the heart of a Muslim, that's what is prohibited, and that's what is the outcome we all try to avoid. My dear brothers and sisters, these are just examples of the guidance of your faith, the faith we all adopt and declare that we belong to, and we carry the burden. It's a burden of representing it to non-Muslim, to disbelievers. So take it serious, as it is a very serious matter. So very few examples how Muslims broadly adhere and guide to preserve peace and tranquility among the believers and all others which they interact with. Few examples would be enough for the Muslim with true conviction to be able to differentiate between good and evil, between lies and truth. So just entice your intellect. It is very simple to see good and differentiate, inshallah, from evil. Listen to the voice of truth and do not listen to the voice of evil, as those who deceive you with evil guidance are only among the hateful and those who want harm to Islam and Muslim. He who ignore the just and honorable guidance and follow the corrupt path, making argument and disagreement his way in life, especially in faith. For some reason, people like to argue about faith. They don't argue about the guidance and the application and the practice of faith that they guide you about. They argue about faith and what is this, and you do it this way and do it that way. But when it comes to practice, when it comes to putting their word into action, they are not that energetic. So be careful with arguments. He who ignores the just and honorable guidance and follows the corrupt path, making argument and disagreement his way of life, especially in faith, he will be lost in the darkness of evil and sinful things. Imam al-Tirmidhi narrated on the authority of Abi Umamah, may God be pleased with him, that Muhammad, peace be upon him, said, not an ummah were misguided after being truthfully guided unless they were plagued with the disease of argument. An ummah that was guided and became misguided, you will find them always plagued like a disease of argument, which lead to conflict, hate, and enmity. May Allah make us among those who listen, inshallah, comprehend and apply, and be a good reflection of Islam to all others. Assalamu alaikum.
عليكم السلام. جزاكم الله خير. الحمد لله الذي بنعمته تتم الصالحات، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله قيوم الأرض والسماوات، وأشهد أن سيدنا ونبينا محمد رسول الله اتقى الله فوقاه وتوكل عليه فكفاه واعتمد عليه فهواه. اللهم صل وسلم وبارك عليه وعلى آله وصحبه الأئمة.